Lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop.
Boom, 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 boom.
Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, 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 lollipop.
Hi everyone, it's Tony and Annette Was Nonis. We had a request to do our talk from the combined sharing group meeting, so we're going to put it out here on YouTube for you guys. But it's very important that you hit the link for the video from Drew Dudley about lollipop moments first. Otherwise, the rest of the talk really isn't going to make much sense. So we will attach that link on here. Make sure you hit that before you begin this next part, which is our talk.
So after the video, the name of our talk is called Love and Lollipops. The first time I saw this video, I recalled a time in high school when a friend and I were just sitting on a couch hanging out, and for whatever reason, he decided to ask me if I remembered him in middle school. I thought about it for a minute and then said, no, not really. Then he went on to share how mean I was to him then, and if someone would have told him that we would be friends in high school, he never would have believed it. I felt remorseful. It was like chewing on a giant piece of raw octopus and trying to eat it politely while involuntarily gagging on it. I shamefully apologized. He simply said, we all make mistakes. To this day, I'm embarrassed to admit that I was so mean to somebody to the point where he remembered it 5 years later, and yet I don't remember it at all. But now, 18 years after him telling me about it, I do remember how grateful I was that he told me, and even more so that he forgave me without me asking or realizing it. This lollipop moment has made me very aware of what and how I say things to others ever since. And the forgiveness that I experienced made me realize that lollipop moments were really tangible instances of God's love. I now feel humbled and blessed to have had this experience. It is like how I felt as a child when my dad was out of a job for a couple of years, and one day I realized that the food we usually brought to church to help others was now being given to our family. My humbled and blessed feeling is a 9 out of 10 on the intensity scale. It is like looking at a photograph of your first baby being held by his great-grandparent for what ended up being both the first and the last time.
As I think of all the lollipop moments that ever happened in my life, I think most of us would realize our spouse is responsible for a vast majority. So when I think of how Annette has impacted my life, I imagine a candy store just filled with lollipops, with some large, some small, and in all different flavors. Thank you, Annette, for the giant 3-foot lollipop moments that you've given me, most notably our wedding day. Now, I know that sounds cliche, but what I remember on our wedding day is looking at you for the first time and thinking and literally saying, wow, out loud at your stunning beauty. But the lollipop moment happened when we were kneeling together during the Mass and just looking at each other and smile. Because without words, you let me know I would be loved by you. No matter what dumb stuff I do, which was plenty, no matter what I would accomplish, no matter how much money we'd have, which isn't a lot, no matter how I looked, no matter how fat or skinny or bald or bearded or shaved, that you'd love me forever and would never let me forget it. So thank you. That moment has always stuck out in my head, and I don't think I ever shared it with you. I feel emancipated. It's a big word for me. But it's like how I imagine a baby must feel after being born and held by its mother for the first time. It's like when you feel the whole world has stopped around you and that time is standing still. But you're still in this warm, glowing bubble. Thank you not only for that moment, but for living out each of those, no matter what I listed for the last 10 and a half years of marriage, and loving me unconditionally.
The person who has had the greatest impact on me becoming a better person is my spouse, Tony. Knowing this, I thought it would be easy to share about one of my lollipop moments from Tony. Instead, it was like flipping through a photo album of memories of so many conversations and experiences that flooded through my head. This made me wonder, how many of those lollipop moments have I acknowledged and thanked Tony for? So I decided to take just 1 minute to acknowledge and thank you, Tony, for at least some of what has been 15 years of lollipop moments for me. Thank you for talking about family and being Catholic over ice cream shortly after we met. I felt at home. Thank you for officially asking me out on a first date. I felt respected and special. Thank you for asking me if I wanted help before tying my shoes and putting my hair in a ponytail after having shoulder surgery, both times. I felt capable yet loved. Thank you for dancing with me at the Elks when my dad played there. I felt carefree. Thank you for holding me while I cried after finding out my mom had cancer. I felt comforted. Thank you for going on a worldwide marriage encounter weekend with me. I felt cherished. Thank you for taking off of school during basketball season to come to my graduation. I felt honored. Thank you for sharing your teaching stories with me. I feel enlightened. Thank you for presenting with me today. I feel connected and excited. Although it was only 1 minute of acknowledgments and thanks, I feel rejuvenated. My feeling is like splashing into the water at the end of a big water slide on a hot summer day. If my feeling were an animal, it would be an eagle soaring through the sky. My rejuvenated feeling is how I imagine one feels after spending an entire day at a spa. In the video, Drew challenges us to create and pay forward lollipop moments every day. We think that this is really what Worldwide Marriage Encounter is all about. Our vision to love one another as I have loved you can be measured in lollipop moments created, acknowledged, paid forward, and thanked. Our weekend was a lollipop moment for us because the 5 tools we learned about taught us how to create lollipop moments for each other. And the encountered couples and priests we have met since then have shown us how to pay forward lollipop moments. From prayer couples to helping set up and take down the weekends, to running dinner dances, and the lists go on and on. We hope we thank you enough, but we realize there are times we may not. We ask for your forgiveness. And now we would like to share just a few of the Worldwide Marriage Encounter lollipop moments we have had. At the conclusion of our weekend, like most of you, we had no idea we had a prayer couple. Our prayer couple was Dan and Mary Withrow. I can still remember Dan coming to find us with a flower and card and apologizing Mary could not be there, but assuring us we would meet Mary soon as we both went to St. Mary Immaculate. While that moment sticks out to me, the lollipop moment was actually several months later at Mass, when our girls saw Dan and Mary in the middle of Mass and after communion ran to give them big hugs. They sat with them for the rest of Mass, and in that moment, I realized the profound effect the pure, unconditional love Dan and Mary have shown us actually had on our kids, and now even the rest of our family whom they've met. I feel warm-hearted. It is like when we have a family snuggle time watching a feel-good movie like Disney's Up. Dan and Mary, thank you. Thank you for loving us before even knowing us, for praying for us almost 2 years ago, and for still giving us lollipop moments to this day.
Another lollipop moment occurred shortly after we made our weekend, and we realized that Marriage Encounter was something we really wanted to be a part of. The annual picnic was the first thing after our weekend, even before a community meeting. I'm often uncomfortable in new situations where I don't know a lot of people. Uncomfortable like going to a wedding where the only people you know is the bride and groom, and you end up sitting at a table with no one that you know. Well, for us, we knew the presenting team at our picnic, and that was it. However, when we walked up, I can distinctly remember Kim and Rich Transon coming to us and introducing us to anyone and everyone they could find. My uncomfortable feeling quickly subsided, and I felt welcomed by people I had only now met. Their simple act of love was a lollipop moment I know I never thanked them for. So thank you, Kim and Rich. Another lollipop moment is when we gave Bernie and Linda Turbining a call, telling them we were going to cancel the February reunion. They stepped up to be the sharing group that hosted the weekend in a moment of need. They put a lot of effort into getting ready for the reunion, and when we called them, I was honestly nervous about letting them know we had decided to cancel, as canceling anything is the last and one of the worst things that we have to do and can do. My nervous feeling is like calling someone that interviewed for a job to tell them they were not chosen. Well, when we called and spoke with them on the phone, my nervous feelings were immediately calmed when Bernie cracked a joke about us hearing their reunion talk, and we continued to have a short but great conversation. Their love in that moment reminded me what we have experienced from everyone we have met within Worldwide Marriage Encounter. Thank you, Bernie and Linda, for your love, compassion, and understanding. People who helped us today bring in the 3 coolers, 3 kids, 4 bags. The day that we were out there, we had lollipop moments at St. Joan of Arc. We had all our kids, like I said, all these bags, and even just that day, we had a lot of lollipop moments that we experienced, and we want to share those, and we hope we can encourage you to share those as well. And we can go on and on about all those examples of people that have given us lollipop moments. And now we want you to think of some that you've experienced, created, acknowledged, paid forward, and thanked people for. Lollipop moments come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and flavors. Just like these lollipops that we're going to share with you as a reminder of this. One of the sharing groups is getting lollipops, so those of you who don't, go buy yourself a lollipop. I don't know which thing I say or do will become lollipop moments for others, but I know they can, and that what I say or how I act or react to a situation can have a profound effect on someone else's life. We hear often about how words can be hurtful, but this lollipop analogy really helps it sink in, as does Annette's story from middle school for me. However, I think we often forget that a kind word or gesture can have just as profound an effect on someone else's life. If you don't believe us, just look around the room that you're in, look at your husband or wife, look for those people that you care about, and think of all the lollipop moments we would need, or all the lollipops we would need, if we gave one to just each of those moments. For each lollipop moment they have contributed in some way, we'd need literally thousands. With the combined years of couples being encountered in this room, again, we gave this before, but we would need so many lollipops like we said before. The great thing is that God has called us to continue to create these lollipop moments through Worldwide Marriage Encounter and live out our mission with the help of the Spirit. As we proclaim the value of marriage and holy orders throughout the world, let's think of how we can create more and more lollipop moments for those we invite on weekends, for those that go on weekends, and for everyone we encounter in our daily life, so that we may all truly love one another as the Lord has loved us. Our dialogue question: what lollipop moment has my spouse done for me that I have not shared with him or her? And how do I feel about my answer? And we'll type it up there for you guys to see as well so you can have it. And then the sharing question, if you're going to use this for anything there: what lollipop moment has another couple done for us? And how do I feel about that? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us share. And
we hope you enjoy, and we encourage you to keep spreading those lollipop moments, and we'll continue thanking all of you for the ones as they occur that you do them for us. So thank you.